Hi, this is Shirley here from Blossoms on the Go. I would just like to wish all the lads the best of luck with the championships this year and hope they get on brilliant. Best of luck. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9:30 to 5:30. Just to let you know, here in Hermitage in Innis, call us, check out our Facebook page for any contact.
And welcome here to Cusick Park for an eagerly anticipated meeting of Inagh-Kilnamona and O'Callaghan's Mills. Joining me here today are Clare Senior Hurling Captain John Conlon and Clare Under 20 Hurling Manager Sean Doyle, who will be obviously watching a lot of his potential players in this game and all the games throughout the county. I suppose, John, we'll just have a quick recap before we go into this game. We were here for the first game today. Good win for Rogue.
Yeah, super win for Rogue. Look, we'd been saying beforehand that it was a scalp that they wanted to probably take. I suppose they'd beaten Cracklow a few years ago by playing a sweeper, and then they started that out today by playing Ciara Russell as a sweeper, and he made a massive impact in the game. Now Cracklow were well on top up until 20 minutes to go when they were 14-8 up, but a long range free went in and Danny Russell broke it down to himself, and it broke well to him, and he stuck in the back of the net with a great pull, and that brought him massively into the game. They got a point or two straight after, and then that 6-point lead was down to one, and there was only one winner after that because the whole momentum of the game had shifted, and Cracklow just couldn't get it past their half hour line, and a Rogue went on to win by 6 points and deservedly so.
Thanks, John. And obviously now they'll be meeting Fecal in the next round, in the quarter-final championship. I suppose, Sean, I know you weren't at the game, but it was a bit of a scalp perhaps for Scariff today in the intermediate championship down in Shannon.
Yeah, because a lot of people, you were looking at Tulla after coming down from senior last year, you'd be expect them to, but Scariff really put it up to him, and Mark Rogers, they're a very good player for the future, coming really showed up to the metal again today, as did Diarmuid Nash at centre half forward, played well. Big scalp for Scariff, but still there's 2 rounds to go.
Absolutely. I suppose we'll focus now on this game today, John. I suppose in a normal run of the thing, I suppose to be saying Inagh-Kilnamona, handy win today. What's your opinion?
Look, I know from playing against the Mills for the last number of years, we would have played them a nice bit with Clonera, and look, you never get anything easily off them. They'll be coming with a mess, with a lot of confidence as well from the first 2 rounds. They would have beaten Brough in the first round, and probably thought they were lucky to come out of that game with a win because Brough were well on top in that game. But then during the last, they did a super win over Crusheen, and Crusheen had, as you see, Ballier last night, and I'd seen that first game against Ballier, could have easily won that. They hit a lot of wides, and they would have been delighted, the Mills, to get out with that great win, get 3 goals as well, which and they've scored 5 goals over the 2 games. So look, they're a fairly settled team, and they've a lot of experience and younger lads there as well, so they won't be afraid at all of Inagh here today. And I suppose all the favouritism would be with Inagh, and you'd expect them to win, but they're young, and I think the Mills would have a lot of experience, and they won't fear it at all.
And obviously the Mills won a county semi-final a couple of years ago. I know that they issue relegation, but they've rallied back from it. So Sean, we've seen Inagh-Kilnamona play. They have been one of the form teams so far this year.
Yeah, Inagh-Kilnamona are one of the form teams, but going into a match like this, the Mills are an experienced outfit, and Inagh-Kilnamona have 8 or 9 under-21s playing very good hurlers. Now they play a lot of a running game, but more orthodox to come, and they try and make as much space as they can inside. There's some exciting talent out there now today, and we just see how it goes. But I still give the Mills a big shout in this game. It could come down to the last 10 minutes, but you would expect Inagh-Kilnamona just to sneak through.
I suppose, John, from who would be the key players that, if you were the Inagh-Kilnamona manager, that you would say I have to watch out from the Mill side?
Look, I suppose you've Conor Cooney at full back, who's going to be, we've all seen Conor, for the last number of years has played inter-county, is going to give any full forward a torrid time inside there, and will try and bully you, and no, he'll be no different today. Then you have Paddy in the half-back line, who kind of holds the centre with Adrian O'Gorman, and then in midfield you've Kieran Cooney, who brings a massive energy around the area, and then Brian Donlan, he's been around a long time as a wise head, is a great lad centre forward, will sit down any centre back and upset him, and then you have Gary inside with Colin Crane, who caused a lot of trouble, and just to mention Jake Rocknan, it's a very important thing for a club is a good free taker, and in fairness to him, any time he steps over the ball it usually goes over the bar, so he's a massive target man and a massive player for them as well.
And reverse the role, who would you see as the major performers today for Inagh-Kilnamona if they're to get to the next round?
Yeah, you'd have to look at, they have a very good goalkeeper and a very good goalkeeper on the other side, two good goalkeepers here today, but you'd have to look at Kevin Heher there, very, very good player. Last year against 6 Mile Bridge here in the semi-final, he gave 50 minutes of a brilliant display. Last 10 minutes he was just out on his feet, really good hurler. And then you have David Fitzgerald, obviously he's a marauding player. If he gets ball and goes through the middle, he's a hard man to stop. They have great movement inside with Guyler. Conor Hegarty, minor, playing here today, he's got serious pace, so the Mills will have to be careful there. But the Mills have a real strong half-back line as well, so it'll come between how good that half-back line of the Mills copes there and how Inagh-Kilnamona cope at the back. But I think going Heher, Fitzgerald, Hegarty, Guyler, David Meskel, there's some serious players there.
Before we hand you up to the All-Clare pairing of Owen Brennan and the Sparrow Loughlin, John, you got it wrong. You got it wrong before the first match. Who are you going for this time to make it 50-50?
Look, I suppose you'll have to, with the form, I think it'll be very close, but I suppose you'll have to go with Inagh-Kilnamona. But I'll give the Mills a massive chance, and they'll come with a massive intensity. I suppose the last thing we didn't probably talk about is the wind in the first match. It made a big difference. When Arrow got on top there, they just started hitting the ball really long, and it started working for them inside. So whoever has the target man inside that's going to win that ball and create those dangerous chances inside will be the winner.
In a word, before you head up, who's going to win?
Just before I give that, I said Inagh-Kilnamona haven't been tested as much as the Mills have, so it could come down to the last 10 minutes. Look, I go for Inagh-Kilnamona by 2.
That's kind. Thanks very much, Taz. We hand you up to the close nest there to Owen and to Ger.
But who will secure the third semi-final spot? Well, that's something that will be realised over the next hour, and to ponder the prospects of both sides, I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary position by Clarecastle's 5-time county title winning player and part of the Magpies management team for their last Canon Hamilton in 2005, and 2-time All-Star Ger Sparrow Loughlin. That's a fair introduction.
I'm going to live up to that at all.
Well, that's what you told me to say, so I'm only going on that. I suppose, Sparrow, yesterday's quarterfinals probably weren't really the thrillers that we expected, but with Inagh-Kilnamona and the Mills both getting perfect starts this year with 2 wins, it's a real 50-50 contest, you'd imagine.
I would think so, yeah. Looking at it, and you go down through the teams, there's plenty of experience in both sets of teams, and a great flourish of young fellas as well thrown in there, from both sides. Keelan Guyler and Conor Hegarty, Gary Cooney, Colin Crehan on the opposition side there. So it looks an intriguing contest, and one that'll be hard to call, I'd say. We'll have to see how the dust settles and see what happens.
Definitely, and Inagh-Kilnamona dispatched with Clooney Quinn and Newmarket and Fergus, while the Mills so often neighbours Broadford before a 3-goal haul sunk Crusheen. Let's get the team news first, because in Inagh-Kilnamona there's one change to the team that overcame Newmarket and Fergus by 121 to 114 in the last round 2 weeks ago, and that is that Evan McNamara doesn't start her injury, and in his place is Niall Arthur. So the team for Inagh-Kilnamona is in goal Eamon Foodie, number 2 Shane McInerney, Sean Mahoney and Keith White. Cian McInerney, Kevin Heher, the captain, and Jason McCarthy make up the half-back line. In the midfield pairing, it's Seamus Foodie and Darren Cullinan, a half-forward line of Aidan McCarthy, David Fitzgerald and Conor Hegarty, and a full-forward line of Keelan Guyler, Niall Arthur and David Meskel. And the O'Callaghan's Mills are unchanged from their last outing, which, as I aforementioned, is against Crusheen. Then they beat them by 317 to 17 points. So in goal is Killian Nugent, Mike Cotter, Conor Cooney and Jerry Cooney make up the full back line. Patrick Donlan, Aidan O'Gorman and Niall Donovan are in the half-back unit. And the midfield pairing of Kieran Cooney and Conor Henry. A half forward line of Aidan Fall, Brian Donlan and Jacob Lucknan. And the full forward trio is Gary Cooney, Sean Cotter and Colin Crehan. A lot of Coonies there, Ger. Must remind you of '86, the '86 county final.
That's right. Yeah. There's quite a lot of them then too, and
well, you faced their fathers, I suppose. It was
close enough anyway. I think it's a good while ago now, but Teresa Cooney there to be busy washing the togs down there. I tell you that.
A bit different to Cairn in '86 here, where the picturesque mountains are replaced by the Aldi end, and that's where it's a sunny day, but there's a strong breeze blowing down towards the old scoreboard end, as we'll call it. I suppose that '86, just mentioned it there, it was, Clarecastle's, your first county medal, of course, and Clarecastle's first since 1970, and just about making the breakthrough. For these two sides, it's a kind of, what would it take for them to make the breakthrough? I suppose a bit of luck, number one, but with leadership, you've got Inagh-Kilnamona, who have never won it since their permanent amalgamation, and the Mills, you'd have to go back to the 30s since they won it, so...
Yeah. Well, look, I suppose it's like, as you said, leadership and, having the inter-county lads from the likes of Inagh-Kilnamona, they'll be looking big time to the McCarthy's and David Fitzgerald, and that's the leadership you really need to get to the next level, like, and combined with youth and the whole lot. Small bit of luck on the day as well, on, as you know, you need the bounce of the ball and that. But no, the Mills, I think the Mills will give it everything, and they have plenty of experiences in the Donlans and everything, and the Coonies. So from that point of view, there'll be no shortage of leadership. But what you'd be hoping for, I suppose, is from both sides is how tactically we'd say the wind will have a bearing there today, because as we saw in the first game, you could be up 6 or 7 points and probably would need to be up 6 or 7 points at half time to face into the wind in the second half. So they're all the permutations that you'd be saying that who'll win the toss, and if they win the toss, will they push on and lead that by 8 or 9 points at half time, because that's what will be required today.
Yeah, and it is those young players. The transitions of both sides have been clear in the last couple of years. Inagh-Kilnamona got to a semi-final in 2012, beaten by Cracklow, and only got back there last year. So their progression line is that they went to a quarter-final 2 years ago, a semi-final last year, so they'll be looking to keep that upward graph. And they've won under 21A championships in 2016 and 18, lost the 2017 final, while the Mills also, in the early part of the decade, had a few runs with Clonlara in the quarterfinals that they didn't quite get past, but are now on the back right side of it. They were in the semi-final 2 years ago, unfortunately in the relegation last year, but the seesaw and the bounce back has been tremendous here. So they won the under-21B in 2017, having lost the 2016 final. And for Inagh-Kilnamona, they've only 2 players starting that weren't part of those 2016 and 18 under-21s, and that's Sean Mahoney and Niall Arthur. While for O'Callaghan's Mills, they have 7 starters from the side that won in 2017 against Clarecastle in the under-21B final. That's Killian Nugent, Mike Cotter, Kieran Cooney, who was the captain on that occasion, Conor Henry, Jacob Lucknan, Gary Cooney and Sean Cotter. And outside of newcomers Broadford, these sides had the longest wait for a senior hurling title, as Inagh-Kilnamona have only been a permanent amalgamation since 2008. So you'd have to go back to 1908 for Kilnamona's last title. And the last of the Mills 8 crowns came 83 years ago in 1937. You denied them in 86, Sparrow.
Just about. just about. No, I'll tell you. Actually, the manager that's involved with Donald Cooney probably nearly beat us on his own that day. He had a tremendous game, in fairness to him.
Yeah, and still plays the game on the line, as we're about to see over the next hour. Very impressive, I suppose, from the Mills' point of view. They have a new management team in there. They had no Clare Cup to fall back on. Let's say Fergal Hagerty has had the last couple. We'll just stop for the national anthem. So, a last four place is the carrot in this eagerly awaited encounter, which is being transmitted simultaneously on Clare FM and Clare GATV in association with Blossoms on the Go Garden Centre in Centre Point in Hermitage, Ennis. We've got Inagh-Kilnamona are going to play with the aid of a strong breeze in the opening half, and the referee for this afternoon is Joe Mullins from Clonlara. So we're about to get underway here. Early switches, as you can see, is Jason McCarthy is gone to midfield, and Seamus Foodie is at wing back. But otherwise it seems that the way they're lining up, and Joe Mullins is looking for the ball, and we're ready to get going here in this quarter-final bout. As I mentioned, Inagh-Kilnamona were in the last four last year, probably very unlucky not to get to a county final against 6 Mile Bridge, whereas the Mills were there 2 years ago, and again they were beaten by the eventual champions Ballyea on that occasion. And so we're ready to go here. It's Inagh-Kilnamona against O'Callaghan's Mills, and we're just still waiting for the ball. Joe has gone to the Mills side of things to get it. He didn't like that one. He's going for a second one. And just having a chat here with Donald Cooney. So we're nearly ready to go in this quarter-final bout in Cusack Park. Very, very sunny day. Much changed weather from yesterday, but it's still quite blustery, and there's a strong breeze at Inagh-Kilnamona's back for the opening half. Joe Mullins is still having a word with Donald O'Donnell here just at the start. So we're about to get going. He's going to... And he's just making his way towards the centre. Fergal Hegarty, of course, in his third year in charge of Inagh-Kilnamona. And we're underway. And it's Kieran Cooney that has it immediately and gets it right down here down the left wing. And that's a great interception from Shane McInerney. And he gives it off to Jason McCarthy. Dave Fitzgerald on the ball, trying to find a bit of space. It's David Fitzgerald. Jason McCarthy. Bit of interference there. And a free for Inagh-Kilnamona just into the 35 seconds gone. It's going to be Aidan McCarthy's first opportunity to get on the scoreboard. He got 110 in the last 2 games, so has a very comfortable record with that one. And he got 17 place balls so far in the championship, and will be hoping to get Inagh-Kilnamona, who are wind assisted, underway here. He's about just around 45 metres out. He lifts and strikes. And the opening score of the game is from Aidan McCarthy. We're a minute gone here, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona who are off the mark. A good start, I suppose, for the.
Yeah, good start on, and they'll have to press on in the first half with that wind assistance, because it definitely is going to have a big bearing in the game. So it'll be interesting to see, can they push on from early on, but the Mills are on attack now.
The Mills, and it's Jacob Lepnan that's going through. He's under pressure a bit from Jason McCarthy, tries to make himself a bit of room, and they're under pressure, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona coming away with it, and it's Kevin Hare, the captain, that does. He was also the captain for the 2016 under-21A final win. Just gets a bit caught up on the ball, and it's the Mills that win it back, and it's Patrick Donlan that plays it right down into the right corner, and that's where Sean Cotter is lurking. The ball goes out for a line ball, and it's going to be the Mills' opportunity at a first score here. They're just really in the right corner at the moment. It's going to be Brian Donlan, the captain, that's going to take it. He's going to just assess his options. There's nothing coming from the back, so he's got to look forward here. Plays a small ball, short ball, and maybe a little bit too close, but he gets away with it. And it's Colin Crehan has a shot at the post. Oh, and it's a beautiful score from the right corner, and the Mills have equalised after 2 minutes here. And Colin Crehan with a superb effort, and it's immediately poked out by Eamon Fooley. They're eager to get this under the way. They're wind assisted, and the ball going right down towards the full forward line. Niall Arthur seemed to be impeded as he was going up for the ball, and he does win a free. Looked to be a push in the back, I suppose, Spar.
Yeah, I think it was straightforward enough, all right on. Connor kind of was up in his back, Connor Cooney, and that's again kind of a needless free, really, because they had plenty of bodies around, really. So, and you'd be thinking that Aidan won't miss this.
Yeah, food and drink to Aidan McCarthy, who, as I said, has got 110 in each of the championship games so far, and he's certainly looking like he's going to rack up a big tally here again today. Just inside the right post, a little bit too close for comfort, but it does mean that Inagh-Kilnamona are back in the lead here after 3 minutes, and it's Killian Nugent about to puck out the ball. They're against a strong breeze, but he aims right down the centre, and that's towards Kieran Cooney. Darren Cullen gets up with him, and the ball breaks, and it's going to be Cian McInerney. Just about gets the ball back to Kevin Hare, who's sitting in the pocket. Oh, but he plays a kind of a loose pass, and it's Jacob Lunanda picks out, goes for a score from 65 metres, because it's going to run short, and it's Gary Cooney that picks up. He's under pressure of about two Inagh-Kilnamona men. Shane McInerney. Oh, and it's a free out. He's judged to over-carry the ball. A small bit harsh, I suppose.
Well, he did hold on to it all right, on, but you know, there was probably a case of that he was being pulled back a little bit as well, like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably a bit harsh.
Eamon Foodie is about to take this free, fairly adept free taker himself in his intermediate days. Did a lot of the scoring for Inagh-Kilnamona, and he does have a strong breeze at his back. So I'd imagine he's going to put this one right into the mix. And down there in the full forward line, you've got Keelan Geiler, you've got Aidan McCarthy and Niall Arthur, a very, very potent inside trio at the moment. He's just outside his own 20-metre line, and we're 4 minutes gone here in this quarter-final. And here we go, and it is a long one, and it's going to drift right in there towards the square. Oh, but it breaks right through, and it's Paddy Donlan, the safe pair of hands, that gets the ball out here to the left wing, where Darren Cullen has it at the moment. He just fails to get it up. He's under pressure a bit from Aidan Fall, and it's Aidan Fall that does pick up possession. He's got men outside him, and he's going to has a look around, but gives the dummy, and is still holding on to the ball. He's very, very close to the sideline here, right in front of the main stand, and he's dispossessed. It's Darren Cullen that has it. On the ground, hits a superb pass across, but Patrick Donlan is again there, sitting in back in the own full back line at the moment. And here we go again. It's Colin Crean, the scorer for O'Callaghan's Mills. He's looking for Gary Cooney, who did a lot of damage against Crusheen the last time out. He's followed by Shane McInerney, and Kevin Hare is there as well. Put under pressure. They're on the ground. There's a bit of a scramble, but it's still not won. It's looking very close to line, and it's going to be another line ball for O'Callaghan's Mills in almost the identical spot as the last one. There were 5 minutes gone here, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona 2. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 1. They got a score from their last line ball, which was taken short. So let's see what they're going to do on this occasion. We've got a lot of players inside there. He's going to be looking for Jacob Leplan at the edge of the square, who's a big, big target for them. He's marked by Seamus Foodie. The ball not really hit properly, and it's Shane McInerney that comes out with possession. He's just under a bit of pressure, but finds David Fitzgerald, who's back in his own half back line at the moment. He tries to get away, is impeded, and he gets a free out. I suppose, as you mentioned, Joe, Inagh-Kilnamona will be looking to rack up. It's a fairly sizable breeze.
Yeah, and you know, they're not showing any signs of doing that at the moment. If anything, to stop-start type of game. Now, I know there's only 6 minutes gone in that, but it hasn't really taken any shape yet now. So the next 5 or 6 minutes is going to be vital for Inagh-Kilnamona. They definitely need to push on, like, you know.
Yeah, it's Aidan McCarthy that's going to take the free from his own 45, and if he's taking it, that means he's going to be looking for a score here. We're just almost 6.5 minutes gone, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona. They're looking to try and take advantage of that wind. And here's Aidan McCarthy. He's on his own 45-metre line. And again, it's a long strike. It's going to have the distance. Whether it will have the accuracy, it looks to be outside. And it's the opening wide of the game. Aidan McCarthy just hitting it to the left, outside the left post. And Killian Nugent is quick to get the matters underway. And he gets it off to Brian Donlan, who finds Patrick Donlan in his own half-back line. And again, he's looking for that inside duo of Crehan and Gary Cooney. It's Crehan that wins it, and he plays it in towards Sean Cotter. Cotter has great control. Can he just get away from it? But no, it's a good block by Sean Mahoney. And Inagh-Kilnamona profit, and they're coming out. It looked to be a free. A bit of a wild swing there from Cotter, and it means that Inagh-Kilnamona get to relieve the danger and try and add to their scoreline. Probably bogged down a little bit. There's no great fluency in the Inagh-Kilnamona attack at the moment.
No, there isn't, and you know, there was half a chance there for the Mills. Really, Sean Cotter a little bit smarter in his striking and that, and probably should have got a score out of that. You know, so they'll be happy. They'll be happy with the way things are at the moment, on, because you know, they'll want to see the water break in 7 or 8 minutes and to be still very much in the game.
Absolutely, and it's Eamon Foodie that plays it, but this time it's Keelan Geiler gets under control. That's going to drift to the left and wide, and it's another missed opportunity for Inagh-Kilnamona here. We're 8 minutes gone. They've got 2 scores, but they've also got 2 wides, and it's 2 points to 1 in favour of O'Callaghan's Mills. And Killian Nugent again pucking low, and again looking for Brian Donlan. This time Kevin Hare is much closer to him and gets possession, but it's Patrick Donlan who has been sitting in the pocket. Now he's back at his own familiar half back line. The pass is intercepted by Shane McInerney, and it's Jason McCarthy that tries to get Inagh-Kilnamona's latest attack underway. Conor Hegarty fails to control it, and it's the Mills that pick up again. They're going to get out, and Brian Donlan, who is coming a deeper role than he's centre forward, he's got a lot of space here. He's on the right wing. He's made a bit of ground past the 65-metre line, lofts it towards the square. There's two Inagh-Kilnamona men, apparently, and Gary Cooney was lurking in behind, but luckily Inagh-Kilnamona get out of danger, and it's Jason McCarthy, kind of an aimless ball because it's played directly to Patrick Donlan. As Sparrow was saying, there's a lot of stop-start to this, a couple of loose passes. The game is yet to get into any bit of a pattern, but let's see what we can do here, because it's Conor Haggerty that has the ball in the left corner, and unfortunately he has hit that one wide of the left post again for Inagh-Kilnamona, who are just looking for that settling score. It's Kieran Cooney, the puck out is taken immediately, and he tries to get him underway, and the ball is played down, and again it's this time it's Sean Cotter. He's in the left corner. He tries to take on Sean Mahoney. Checks back, has a look over, and it lofts it in towards the square, but there's no Mills man. There's four Inagh-Kilnamona men there, and it's Keith White that comes out with the ball. He gives it off to Jason McCarthy. McCarthy, a little dink ball down to Niall Arthur. His first chance to try and get a score, and he's going to hit one from 65 metres. That's just going to tail away to the right and wide, and a fourth wide for Inagh-Kilnamona, Ger.
Yeah, it's fairly concerning now, all right, like, you know, but worth a shot there now, in fairness to him. He was on his own, so it was worth opening up and taking a chance, and it wasn't far wide, like, but no, the Mills would be delighted with this at the moment, you know.
They are, and they have a shot at the post themselves. Is Conor Henry. That's going to be their first wide, but it wasn't a bad effort, and they won't be too concerned about that. It's Eamon Foley getting the ball underway, but it's intercepted by Jacob Leclan. He's at 60 metres, he's gone to 55, has a look at the post, and he's a bit of hesitancy in the umpires, but he eventually puts it over. And after 10 minutes, we're level here in the park. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 2, it's O'Callaghan's Mills 2, and the game is immediately underway because Eamon Foley has put the ball right down to the full forward line. That's where Aidan McCarthy is. He catches it. It's a superb catch. Can he get the space to open up? And he does. It's going to drop short, but Killian Nugent is there. Just didn't have enough power, which is kind of surprising, I suppose, with that wind advantage. But Killian Nugent's puck is gone straight to Niall Arthur. And again, he's put it to the left and wide, and that's Inagh-Kilnamona's fifth wide. A great opportunity there for them to get underway, but the match is back in action, and the puck out is taken quickly, but Kieran Cooney doesn't secure it, and there's a bit of a scramble here, but it's Aidan McCarthy. Now he's got an opportunity. He just shrugs off one challenge, gives it back to Conor Haggerty, and Conor Haggerty finally gets Inagh-Kilnamona's third point after a 5-wide blitz, and after 11 minutes, Inagh-Kilnamona are back in front at 3 points to 2. A much needed score, Jar.
Yeah, very much so. And you know, they're only operating in fits and starts, really. But that might settle them now. You know, they might go on to open up a few things, and they're in possession again now.
Absolutely, and it's David Meskel that intercepts the latest puck out. Received a high challenge from Brian Donlan, and that means there's going to be a free around 60 metres out, right on the left wing. But it's a good opportunity for Inagh-Kilnamona to just put a bit of daylight between the sides. Brian Donlan is going to be spoken to by Joe Mullins, and will it be just a bit sterner? He is taking the name, and it looks like it's going to be the first yellow card of the afternoon for Brian Donlan, the captain of O'Callaghan's Mills, who does receive a yellow card, and it's an opportunity for Aidan McCarthy to try and get his third point of the game so far. He's already got 2 frees. This would add to his tally. He's just inside the 65-metre line, just right over by the shed end, as we'd say to it. It's about 12 minutes gone here, so here we go. He's definitely going to have the distance from here, but it's all about the accuracy, and Inagh-Kilnamona haven't had that so far. But that looks to be good for Aidan McCarthy, and it is. It's his third free of the afternoon, and it means that Inagh-Kilnamona have opened up a 2-point lead for the very, very first time after 12 minutes. Killian Nugent this time going with a high ball. He just passes the opposition 65-metre line, but that's where Jason McCarthy is. He wins the break, makes it to halfway, and pops a ball inside for Conor Haggerty. He's got a bit of space here. He takes it on, and he looks like he's going to put it over the bar, and it is. And it's Inagh-Kilnamona's third point in a row, and they're gone 5-2 clear here after 12 minutes. After 5 wides, George, that's a great blitz to have 3 points in a row.
Yeah, they've come into there now in the last few minutes, and you know, Conor Haggerty looks dangerous there when the ball is hit into him there, so he'll be delighted that'll settle him, you know.
Absolutely, and it will settle Inagh-Kilnamona as well after those wides. Mills puck it out straight away, but it's Inagh-Kilnamona on the ball, and it's this time it's Kevin Herr. He's right on the left wing, and he's playing it down towards Haggerty, who's already got 2 points, looking very, very lively here. He's been marked by Conor Cooney, and Conor lets him know this is senior hurling now. It's a little bit different. Puts in a stern challenge. It's going to be a line ball for Inagh-Kilnamona. Conor Haggerty is still down. It's his first year on the senior panel. Obviously was a very, very impressive Clare minor last year. We're 13 minutes gone here. It's 5 points to Inagh-Kilnamona. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 2, with the commentary compliments of the Blossoms on the Go Garden Centre in Centre Point in Hermitage, Ennis. And you can visit Blossoms on the Go Facebook page for all their special offers. It's Patrick Donlan's going to take this line ball, and he cuts it not too far, and it's just going to be a bit scrappy here until we're going to see who's going to come out with the ball. The jerseys, maybe not that dissimilar, but the shorts and the socks are exactly the same. And there's a good tussle for the ball here. The sides played in the 2017 Senior B final, but haven't met in the championship since 2009. On that occasion in 2017, it was the Mills that came out on top by 316 to 115. Let's see what's going to happen today. And as Conor Hagerty looks to try and get the ball, it's a little bit scrappy here after Joe Mullins after throwing it in. Ball is played down into the Inagh-Kilnamona half, but Kevin Hare is there again. He gets a bit of relief and gets the ball out to Seamus Foodie. And now it's Aidan McCarthy on the ball. Dinks it inside to Darren Cullen. He's got a man inside him who's David Fitzgerald, but managed to go for himself. That looks to be good, and it is. It's Inagh-Kilnamona's 6th point, and it's 4th point in a row, and it's a good opening. And they're starting to put a bit of daylight between the sides, Bar.
They are, and they're beginning to open up now, all right, like, you know, but they're still giving chances to the Mills, really.
And the Mills are on a chance of a score. Gary Cooney just didn't control it, and Keith White is coming out with the ball. They seem to have a spare man when they're coming out of defence, and Inagh-Kilnamona underway. It's David Meskel trying to take on his Patrick Donlan. He does just about get the ball away. He was looking for David Fitzgerald, but he's not going to fight him, and it's Aidan O'Gorman that picks up. He gives it off to Jacob Lucknan. He's already got a score. He's a big man. He gives it off to Brian Donlan, who's the captain. He's around 45 metres out, and he's racing towards the goal. He's got a lot of Inagh-Kilnamona men in front of him, but weaves past two. He's after giving it inside to Colin Crean, and that's a goal. He's after batting it in, and a real opportunist goal made by Jacob Lucknan. He offloaded to Brian Donlan. He weaved his way past and found the overlapping Colin Crean to bat to the net. A huge boost for O'Callaghan's Mills.
Massive. Just coming up on the water break now as well. So that's a massive because as we had said, Inagh-Kilnamona were dominating for the previous 7 or 8 minutes. So it really is it's a massive boost for the Mills.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going in at the water break, and you're thinking we're 4 points up. We'll just keep it calm. We'll tell them to keep going, and suddenly you get a goal against you. You have to change the team talk, don't you?
You do. Kind of in the space of 30 seconds, it suddenly changed, you know. But no, the Mills are hanging in there. They're getting a couple of chances, but Inagh-Kilnamona had settled, and you know, if they continue it on, they should still be going in 5-6 points up at half time. Whether it'll be enough or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, just an update on the Senior B quarter final. It's Wolf Tones 1-1. It's Newmarket and Fergus 3 points, and that's in the opening half. We've got Inagh-Kilnamona have hit 5 wides in that period. You know, I suppose they weren't as clinical but then they started to pull over the points, and it seemed to be settling. So it's just the wrong timing for them to go in at the water break and try and regroup after that goal.
Yeah, that's right. You know, when you look at it, the Mills were struggling, and we expected that against the wind and that, you know. But it's certainly they'll be delighted. The Mills, they haven't played particularly well in the first 15 minutes, and suddenly they're only a point behind. So, but it's all like the Inagh-Kilnamona now will have to come out and press on for the next 15 minutes, or they could be in trouble if they don't on. You know.
Absolutely. No surprise that Inagh-Kilnamona are straight back out on the field. They're looking to try and replenish that, and at the moment it's still Wolf Tones 1-1. It's Newmarket and Fergus 3 points in that Senior B quarter final. Yesterday Clarecastle beat Whitegate, and there's still 2 quarter finals to come. You've got Cracklow against Clonlara, and you've also got Crusheen against Clooney Quinn. We're about to get going here. It's Eamon Foodie going to poke out the ball, but just after picking it out of the back of the net, because at the moment we're 17 minutes gone. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 6 points. It's the Mills 1-2. Let's see what the second quarter is going to bring, and it is Eamon Foodie that gets the ball very, very deep into the Mills defence. Niall Arthur's underneath it, but it breaks perfectly for David Meskel. He has a goal, but he's hooked to the first occasion by Niall Donovan, and suddenly there's 3 men around him. Oh, and Aidan McCarthy looked to be going 2 on goal after getting a pass from David Meskel, but he's adjudged to have thrown the ball, and it's a big relief for O'Callaghan's Mills just to get out of danger. It could have spelled trouble there for the Mills.
It could. There was an opening there, and there was no doubt about it. Aidan McCarthy was going to take the opportunity, but and he did throw it, so it was a free. So that's.
Killian Nugent is about to take the free. He's on his own 20-metre line, and he looks out to the right wing, but there isn't a Mills man out here, and that's where Seamus Foley is lurking. He picks up the ball. He's at 65 metres. He's going to have a go at the post. It would be a big score for Inagh-Kilnamona, and it is. What a reply for Inagh-Kilnamona. They're after being hit by a goal, but managed to get back on the scoreboard and restore a 2-point advantage. We're 18 minutes gone here, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona 7 points. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-2. Killian Nugent quick to puck out the ball. They're only 2 points behind. They'll be very happy with this considering the strength of the breeze that's against them at the moment. Darren Cullen got up very, very high for that puck out, but unfortunately he rose the knee and he fouled Kieran Cooney, and it's going to be a Mills free and an opportunity for them to hit back. Aidan O'Gorman puts the ball down for Jacob Lucknan, and Jacob Lucknan is going to take this one. He's already got 10 points in the championship. 8 of those have come from frees. So we're 19 minutes gone here, and he has an opportunity. He's already scored 1 from play. Let's see what he's going to do for a place ball. It's going to be a difficult one because there's a strong breeze against him. He's probably going to hold up, but that won't be any concern to them because they have 2 lethal men inside there, Colin Crehan and Gary Cooney. And the Mills, that's their 6th goal of the championship. 6 goals in 3 games. It's a 2-goal average per game. And Jacob Lucknan does hit it from halfway. He does have the distance, but unfortunately doesn't have the accuracy. It's just gone outside the right post, and it's the Mills' second wide here. Eamon Foley quickly pucks it out to Cian McInerney. The Mills were complaining that it was taken too quickly, but he gets the ball right inside there in the mix. But the Mills are there in numbers, and they're trying to come out with it. It's Aidan O'Gorman. He does come out of the pack with the ball, hits it out here in the right wing where Brian Donlan seems to be always there to pick up the spare ball. And here we go again. And Brian Donlan is about to receive the ball back. He's at the halfway point. He's past the 65-metre line, has a look inside and looks for Crehan. Crehan picks it up. It's a beautiful collect, and he's after taking on the first man, takes on the second one, but just probably did a little bit too much, and it's Kevin Hare that comes out with the ball. He's in the left corner, but he does have options here on the left wing. Opts to go down the centre, and that's where Niall Donovan's going to easily collect the ball. And he picks it up on his own 65-metre line. Jinks inside 2 players, still has it, and gives it off to Kieran Cooney. Kieran Cooney tries to take him on. He's 60 metres out. Gives it back to Aidan Fall. Aidan Fall, the wing back. That looks to be just outside the right post, and it's going to be another wide for O'Callaghan's Mills. Their 3rd of the game. And the ball is immediately pucked out by Eamon Foley, but it gives it right to Brian Donlan, and Brian Donlan isn't going to pass up an opportunity like that to get a score, and it means that the deficit is back to 1 for the Mills. It was a bit of a gift, Ger.
That was a gift, all right.
You'd have taken it.
We'd been very grateful at that one, but no, that was a soft score, so they can't afford that with the wind,
Absolutely not, but the ball is quickly pucked out by Eamon Foley. It doesn't manage to find a man in the same jersey at the moment, but Aidan McCarthy, his persistence pays off. He's after winning back possession. He gives it to his older brother Jason. Jason's got a bit of daylight in front of him, and he ploughs through and puts the ball over the bar, and it's a good response for Inagh-Kilnamona after that gift of a point, and it means that there's 2-point advantage again. We're 21 minutes gone here. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 8 points. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-3, and a good point for Jason McCarthy to try and settle matters down. He's going to be one of those leaders that they're going to be looking for this afternoon.
Absolutely, Eoin. When you look at him, he looks dangerous when he's going forward as well. So big game needed out of both McCarthy's.
Definitely, and so far we're in a great game here. As we anticipated, it's a real 50-50 game, and despite that wind advantage, Inagh-Kilnamona haven't been able to shake off O'Callaghan's Mills, who've been stubborn throughout, and that Colin Crehan goal has put a completely different perspective on the game. But it's Aidan Fall that's going to pick up. He bounces off Cian McInerney, still has the ball, and he's going to get a free as well, and much deserved. He really was good with that ball, and he's got 22 minutes gone here. There's 2 points in the difference. But this is straight in front of the post. It's about 45 metres out, and it's going to be Jacob Lucknan's going to take it, and he should be able to, you'd imagine, Spar to make it back to a 1-point game.
Yeah, going on the last free he had there from an additional 45 metres back, he had the distance and everything. So I think he's pretty accurate on frees, and this should go over.
Absolutely, and they're going to need every one of these against the wind to make sure that they're staying in touch, and that's all they need to do here in the first half, because as I said, it's a strong breeze. Rogue use it to their advantage to plough on in the last quarter against Cracklaw, and Jacob Glucknan manages to get that score against the conditions, and it's now Inagh-Kilnamona 8, it's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-4, and Eamon Foley will be eager to try and poke this ball out quickly, and again he goes right down the centre. There's a crowd of players there. Aidan McCarthy doesn't win it, but it manages to go in behind him. But there's Jerry Cooney surrounded by two Inagh-Kilnamona men, but manages to get the ball away to Aidan Fall. Aidan Fall had that mazy run a couple of minutes ago, but this one is intercepted. His hand pass, Darren Cullen gets it to Niall Arthur. He could do with a score here. That's going to be close, and it is over the bar, and it's a great score for Niall Arthur. Again, Inagh-Kilnamona always able to get that point back. It's Niall Arthur's first of the game. We're 23 and a half minutes gone here, and it's O'Callaghan's Mills that are 2 behind once more as Inagh-Kilnamona lead by 9 points to 1-4. Killian Nugent pokes right out to the left wing, and that's where Aidan Fall is. He's got a bit of space, and he plays it into the left corner, and that again, Colin Crehan, who was over in the right corner a minute ago, and now he's on the left. He has a look up. That's not going to make it on this occasion. He's gone to the left and wide, and it means that Inagh-Kilnamona have hit 4 wides to Inagh-Kilnamona's 5, and the puck is going straight out again, and it's looking for Conor Hegarty, but that's quickly out from Conor Cooney. He gives it off. Oh, and it's a great steal from Conor Hegarty again, but Patrick Donlan is there this time to try and get it underway. He's hit it from his own half back line, again looking for Crehan, and Crehan delivers because he's after catching the ball in the left corner. He's about 25 metres out. This time he's more accurate, and he puts the ball over the bar, and we're back to a 1-point game. It's really tit for tat. It's end-to-end stuff, Jaron. It's what we all expected, I suppose.
It is, and as we said before the game, the Mills full forward line look dangerous, and there's no doubt about Colin Crehan has the upper hand on Shane McInerney if they get good quality ball into him.
Yeah, and there's going to be a change for Inagh-Kilnamona, and it's Conor Tierney that's coming on to the field, and he's coming on instead of David Meskel, so that's a substitution in the 24th minute. Eamon Foley, meanwhile, has got the puck out again, and so not surprisingly, he's looked for Aidan McCarthy, but he doesn't win it this time around, and instead it's Brian Donlan who's played a very deep role here from his normal centre forward berth, and he's looking for Crehan again, and why wouldn't you, because he's already got 1-2 in the game. He's looking to make it 1-3, and he does, and it means that the game is level here after 25 minutes. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 9, it's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-6. They're just a difficult team to shake off.
Yeah, and they're hanging in there, and they look dangerous when that ball goes up there, you know, so there's no doubt about it. Inagh-Kilnamona wouldn't be happy with their display so far.
They won't, but they have an opportunity to try and make amends here a small bit, but it's Aidan Fall that comes to the Mills rescue, and they have their backs up at the moment. They're really flowing with it, but it's he unfortunately gives it to Cian McInerney, who has a bit of space. He's on the opposition 65-metre line. That looks to be good, and it's a great score, and what Inagh-Kilnamona will hope is an inspirational score as they go back into the lead here, coming up to the 26th minute. Inagh-Kilnamona 10 points, it's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-6. Killian Nugent is ready to poke out the ball, but a great score from Cian McInerney, who was the 2017 Minor A winning captain. Killian Nugent hits it right out to the centre of the field, and that's a good interception from Cian McInerney again. Gives it off to David Fitzgerald. That's going to take the win, and it's going to go to the right and wide. Inagh-Kilnamona haven't had a wide in a while, but that means they're 6th of the half, and you have to feel that they have to take every score with the aid of that breeze, because we're only 4 minutes away from the end of the first 30 minutes. Ball poked out, but again it's Inagh-Kilnamona that intercept Kevin Hare, but he in turn is being turned over by Conor Henry. He looks for Brian Donlan, who was always on the right wing, but now he's popped up on the left. He's got a good struggle for the ball with Seamus Foley. They're both tussling for it. Conor Tierney is trying to get his first touch, but it's Donlan, the captain, that takes it away from the Mills, and he's after winning the free. Looked to be a flick, and the Mills management are right on top of there to make sure that their man got the free.
That's right. He worked hard, to be fair to Brian. He worked very hard there, and no better by Brian Donlan than to, once he puts on the Mills jersey, he gives it 100% always.
One of their more experienced players, and it allows Jacob Lucknan an opportunity to get his 3rd point of this game. We're 27 minutes gone. This would equalise for the 2nd time, with the Mills just going toe to toe with Inagh-Kilnamona despite facing into that strong breeze. He's got a tricky angle here. He's about 25 metres out from the end line, but it may be about 30 metres out from the actual goal, that it looks to be going astray, and it's just gone to the right and wide. It took the wind, and it means that O'Callaghan's Mills now have 5 wides. Eamon Foodie very, very eager to puck out the ball, and again he goes right down the centre, and he's looking for Dave Fitzgerald. It goes over his head, but Keelan Geiler is there, but doesn't manage to get it under control, and it's Jerry Cooney that comes out with the ball. He gives it off to his cousin Kieran Cooney. Kieran Cooney gives it on to Conor Henry, and Conor Henry has it at his own 65 metre line, looking for Jacob Lucknan. Oh, but Seamus Foodie robbed his pocket there, and he's gone to this opposition 65. He's gone to 60 metres, has a look at the post, but unfortunately that's not going to make it, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona 7th wide. Inagh-Kilnamona will be frustrated, I'd imagine. Look, they've got 10 points, but they've also hit 7 wides.
Yeah, and very scoreable. I mean, to be fair to Seamus Foodie, he got a very good score before that, but
Yeah.
that's one like that, you know, at senior level they should be going over all the time.
Yeah, they're trying to shoot a bit from distance, and we're back on the play, and it's Mills that got the ball. It looked to be touched on the ground, and it was. The ball looked to be bouncing, but he touched on top of the ground, and that means that it's a free. Sean Cotter giving away the free, and it's going to be free for Inagh-Kilnamona in their own half back line. You'd imagine that Eamon Foodie is going to come out from the goal to try and hit this one, and he is. He had a little bit of a discussion with Aidan McCarthy, but he's going to take this. He's a long way from goal, but as I said previously, he has a good record from frees, but he opts to go short, and he's gone right down here to the right corner. Niall Arthur had an unorthodox flick, but it managed to keep it in play. Well, we're going to just hold up here. Joe Mullins is going to go over to talk to Jarlath Donlan. I don't know if the ball went out or has there been a bit of interference from the other managements, but it just...
Well, in actual fact, I think the O'Callaghan's Mills number 14, I think it was stood in front of the free taker.
Okay, so he's going to take it again.
Probably deserves some bit of punishment, really.
Yeah, okay. We're 29 minutes gone here, and Eamon Foodie's going to get a second opportunity, but this time he passes it off to Aidan McCarthy, who's going to take it. It's a little bit more advanced than the last one, but we still... going to be a monster free. He's about in his own 45 metre line. Donald Cooney has just gone out to to protest. He's got his hands in the hips. He's having a chat with Jarlath Donlan, but I don't think it's going to change the decision. We're just a small bit of hold up here because Brian Donlan is receiving a bit of attention. Looks to be a head injury. He's the helmet off, but I don't think it's going to unduly, or he's just taking a break. He's put in a fair shift so far in his own back line, as well as setting up the goal for...
He has, and he's done a lot of running, like, you know, and held on to possession, like, so he'd be delighted with his first 30 minutes because basically they've carried out authorisation, I'd say, to hold on to the ball and run with it, and it's worked perfectly for him so far. You know, you'd have to say they're the team all to play for in the second half. You know, they'd be delighted with only a point in it, and we're into additional time in the first half.
Yeah, and just an update of that Wolf Tones, Newmarket and Fergus Derby. It's level at the moment, still in the first half. It's 1-3 to Wolf Tones. It's 6 points to Newmarket and Fergus. We got 2 minutes of additional time here to come. We're about 30 seconds into the first one, but I'm sure that'll be added on for the attention to Brian Donlan. We're back underway, and it's going to be Aidan McCarthy going to take that free. It's going to be a free for the second time. He lofts it in towards the square. It's probably going to be a little bit short, and Killian Nugent just about stretched his arm to make sure that didn't go in for a goal. It was a great take, and it means that the Mills are back out. They're on the counter-attack, and they're looking down here in the left wing, but that one's intercepted. Jacob Lucknan's going to pick it up in his own half-back line. Jacob Lucknan has a look around, goes cross-field, but that's going to be, you'd imagine, picked up by Seamus Foodie. He just didn't really, he took his eye off it for a second and didn't manage to get it under control, and it's Aidan Fall that does pick up. He's 60 metres out. He looks into the corner where Gary Cooney is. Gary Cooney slips, unfortunately, and it's Shane McInerney that picks up the ball in the left corner and plays it down the left wing. He hasn't got any support there in terms of height, and it's the Mills that pick it up again. They're really coming to this game since that goal, and there's only a point in it here as we're entering the final minute of additional time. The ball sent in towards the square, and that's where Sean Cotter is. But it's going to be a free, out here in the right wing, and a great opportunity, Sparrow, for the Mills to equalise. And what a perfect time it would be just at the half-time break.
Just on half-time, exactly. And they're working very hard, in fairness to them. You know, it's a game that hasn't really opened up at all so far. But from a O'Callaghan's Mills point of view, they'll be absolutely thrilled that they're going in and ably assisted with the wind in the second half, you'd have to say the favours are on their side. But it's all to play for, really. Like, it's a hard game to weigh up actually at the moment as to who's going to come out on top, because it's loose and it's open type of hurling and that. Like, but if this goes over, they'll be going in level at half time.
Absolutely, and it's Colin Crehan that has the responsibility to take this free. It probably will be one of the last pucks of the opening half. It'll be a great opportunity to equalise here. He takes the free and he does put it over, and that means that it is level. We're 32 and a half minutes gone here. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 10. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-7, and we're about to keep playing. It's 1-4 for Colin Crehan, and it is the final action of the half, because we're here on level terms, and a brilliant opportunity for O'Callaghan's Mills. They're level at half time. They have the win to come, but as we know, Ger, the win never won the team any game.
No, indeed not. But they'll be certainly the happier of the two sides. You would have to say that Inagh-Kilnamona haven't played well. It's my first time seeing them this year, and I've been hearing good things about them, but you wouldn't be overly impressed with what you see in the first half there now from them. Now, look, I think the true character of the team will have to come to the fore in the second half if they're going to win this, because definitely the win is worth 5 or 6 points to some team, and Inagh-Kilnamona hasn't availed of that. But it'll be interesting to see, have the Mills, the players that'll be able to capitalise on shooting maybe from 40, 50, 60 metres out with more accuracy than Inagh-Kilnamona, because they had some terrible wides in the first half, so it'll be interesting now to see from that perspective is the likes of O'Callaghan's Mills, are they up for the challenge ahead? Like, sometimes the wind, it can be a deterrent as well. Yeah. It can be, but I prefer to be playing with it in the second half. I put it that way, anyway.
Absolutely, and it is level here at half time. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 10 points. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-7. We'll be back with more analysis after a quick break.
And thanks there to Owen and to Ger, and joined here on the sideline by Sean and John. John, first we go to you. Is it a fair result at half time?
I think it is, yeah. I suppose Inagh were well on top, like they were 6-3 up until Colin got the goal, and that brought the Mills back into it. But yeah, like, I suppose Inagh would be disappointed there after hitting a lot of long range wides. With the wind, thinking that they'd try and score instead of maybe using it back in the field. I also kind of worry a bit about their shape. The Mills' backs look in control, and the Mills half-back line have been just sitting back, and the half forward line for Inagh have just been non-existent kind of at times, because it's very easy for their centre back there to sit back and control and keep their defence really compact. And I don't know, I think Inagh need to come up the field a little bit and hold that, maybe even their centre forward, even just to hold the line, just to make sure they get a stronghold there, because anytime they have to clear down the field, they seem to be losing it.
So, Sean, does the impetus now look that it might be pushing towards O'Callaghan's Mills after a solid first half by them?
It does, because the wind is worth a couple of points out there. It's fairly strong out here. But Inagh, the Mills got the goal at the right time, and then they got the water break, and they rearranged themselves, and they rearranged good. But the goalies on both sides had a couple of misweired passes and a couple of points on either side, and which is uncharacteristic of both goals. But if Inagh want to get into this game, they need to read David Fitzgerald to get up to the mark. He hasn't really been in it. But for the Mills, Brian Donlan has a huge influence in the game. He's really controlling around the middle of the field, with Conor Henry, another unsung player, a new player into the squad there that they have this year, come up from junior ranks, and he's playing really well as well.
So, John, Colin Crehan has delivered strongly for the Mills. You said he got the goal at the best time, just at the water break.
Yeah, he's been super inside. Anytime the ball has gone in, can't understand how they still have Shane McInerney on him. I think they need to make a change fairly quick there, because I think he's won I think there's about 6 or 7 possessions that have gone in there, and he's won them all, and hit one wide and scored 1-4. So he looks very sharp inside, and the Mills just need to keep getting the ball into him. And Gary has been unlucky. He's got to the ball, he just left it behind him a few times. So it's been a good battle between himself and Keith White. But if Gary gets motoring as well in the second half with the wind, we'll soon see what's going to happen. I think Adrian Ford has been doing very well in the wing as well. Just maybe he needs to use the ball a bit quicker and find a better pass. But in terms of ball winning half forward line, himself and Jake McLaughlin have done a lot of damage, as of Brian Donlan out around the middle. His work rate and just never say die attitude that's always been there with Brian and Paddy has really brought the Mills back into it.
So, Sean, you have a good knowledge of O'Callaghan's Mills having been involved with teams but if have the Mills, would we say now, like if you're Inagh-Kilnamona, how would you say they have, what's going wrong for them?
Well, you see the two Mills half forwards. They're back. They're playing 5 across the back there for the puck outs. Eamon and probably the management see at half time, they have to go a small bit short because they're hitting the ball long and it's suiting the Mills down to the ground. Once it's in a crowd, they're coming out with it. Paddy Donlan at the far side for the first 15 minutes, he nearly had a pain in his shoulder from hitting the ball, but he gives the ball, he gives great ball in. And now, as John highlighted there, Gary and Keith White have always been battled up along. The two of them know each other very well. But I just think if Gary gets the one chance, he has that ability to cut a defence open and get a couple of scores. But the Mills are really impressive now, and they're well organised as well.
And this breeze, if you're playing, as we saw in the last game, I know that the breeze have any impact on the Cratloe-Aero game really, but when Aero scored on 110 to a point in the last 20 minutes, is the breeze worth something here today?
It is. Look, I suppose when you have Paddy Donlan and the lads around the middle, you know, Conor Cooney and them, you know, I think their lads can shoot a lot. Jake Loughnane, you know, a few long range scores. The one thing I would, you know, a word of warning is that, you know, the goalie not going massively long, because what you saw with Inagh there in the first half, they had nearly 4 or 5 underneath the dropping ball in around the middle, and usually a Mills lad came out, or even if an Inagh lad did win it, he was surrounded by 4 or 5 defenders. So what the Mills have to be cute is maybe take the bit of distance off the puck out and just land it on the half forward line and keep that space so that they can get onto it. But it should be an interesting second half. You hear Inagh here kind of, you know, getting riled up, and I think the Mills are comfortable at the moment. So look, they'll be looking forward to the second half.
That's what Sean before the teams are working. If you were to say in a nutshell now, how do you see this game panning out now with the breeze, or obviously with Inagh and the Mills?
It could suit Inagh playing against the breeze, because they won't have to go as long as what they are going, and they'll play through line, because they have very dangerous forwards. Like Conor Hagerty, you know, looks impressive when he gets the ball. He's got 2 points. Get the ball into him, keep the space wide, because they're very good at creating space, but they're not. They seem to have panic there in the first half, and they need, as I say, Ed McCarthy started superb now, and he's a fine hurler, but David Fitzgerald is the man they need to get into the game.
The McCarthys are vital to Inagh-Kilnamona winning this game.
Yes, without doubt. Aidan and Jason. Now Jason goes through the middle there as well. The two of them are top class hurlers. There's still all to play for, but the Mills have won. They always bring on Cormac Murphy in the second half. He's got great pace, and see how he goes, and he will definitely be introduced here as well today.
I suppose you both went for Inagh-Kilnamona at the start of the game. What are you thinking now?
Yeah, I think the Mills are actually going to win this by 2 or 3 points in the end. I think they've shown that bit of extra hunger, and you know, from playing the last years, I think they'll have that bit of experience maybe to get over the line.
And finally for yourself?
Yeah, I'll change my mind at half time as well. I think the Mills should go on now to win it. They're really playing well. It's up to themselves. It's there from now to take it.
And I suppose the two teams are getting ready to go on the field again, so I think they're nearly ready to go back up to the Crow's Nest, to Owen and to Ger. Yeah.
Welcome back to Cusack Park, and we're ready. It's perfect timing because the second half is about to get going here. The only change at half time is that the Mills mentors have been told to put on orange bibs, which is very fetching for Donald Cooney here as he's stretching here on the sideline. But we're about to get things started. It's the Mills who have the breeze in the second period, but as they showed in the opening half, the breeze isn't all about in this game. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 10 points, it's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-7. We're level here. Let's see what the second half is going to bring. Joe Mullins is about to throw in the ball for the second period, and we're underway, and it's Kieran Cooney that immediately has it, and he pucks it down right into the right corner. He's looking for his brother Gary. Gary tries to get on the ball, and he does. He's got Keith White for company, and very close company. No social distancing there, I can tell you, as he's trying to get up that ball. It's a good scrap, and it's going to go right over the line, and Rory McGann indicates that it's an O'Callaghan's Mills line ball and an opportunity for them to take the lead here with the wind advantage. It's going to be Sean Cotter that's going to take it. We're just 30 seconds into the second half. We're in level terms here, and an opportunity to try and pick out a player inside. He mishits it slightly, but it does fall to the man at the moment, Colin Crean, and he gets inside Shane McInerney. He looks to be fouled. He's got the advantage anyway, but has a shot at the post. It's going to go wide, but he wins the free and is pulled back for that advantage. Colin Crean is taken up where he left off in the first half, Jar.
He has, yeah, and look. I'm looking there and I see that Shane McInerney is actually marking him again there now. But he looks very sharp in fairness to him, and he looks like a fella like that is looking for the ball most importantly.
Absolutely. He got 2-8 before this game, and he's already got 1-4. He's halfway to that mark here in this game, and he could make it 1-5 with this free. It's on the 20-metre line. It's just to the right of the goal, and we're just a minute gone here in the second half, and he does put it over, and it means that the Mills go into the lead for the very, very first time. It's 1-8 to O'Callaghan's Mills. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 10 points. Inagh-Kilnamona haven't been behind in the championship so far, so this is a real test of their character as they're playing against a strong breeze. They opt to go short with the puck out. Shane McInerney gives it off to Darren Cullen, and they're underway. It's Kevin Hare that plays it from his own half back line. He's looking for Conor Hegarty. Conor Hegarty just doesn't get under control, and it goes out over the sideline for a Mills ball, again in front of the Mills management, and they'll be very, very happy to have got that decision. And it's Patrick Donlan that's going to take it, the 2013 All-Ireland winning captain for Clare. He's bringing that experience, and the Mills, just in terms of experience, have a bit more. They've played senior up along. Line ball is deflected out for another line ball off Aidan McCarthy, and it just means that they're going to make a little bit of ground here. They're just making their way up towards what would be nearly in the 65-metre line. We're 2 minutes gone here in the second half. It's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-8. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 10 points, which are commentary compliments of Blossoms on the Go Garden Centre in Centre Point in Hermitage, Ennis. Ball this time is better hit, and it's gone in towards the corner where Gary Cooney is. But there seemed to be an infringement there, and Joe Mullins indicates that it's a free out to Inagh-Kilnamona, and they get a bit of relief. And it's Kevin Hare, the captain, that is standing over the ball, but he leaves it for Eamon Foodie, who's going to try and penetrate the opposition half. He's already taken a couple of early frees. He's looking for his options here. He's just in front of the main stand, and he goes cross field, and that's where Aidan Fall is lurking, and he tries to catch it, just goes in over his head, and it's an opportunity here for Keelan Guyler. Keelan Guyler is hooked on the first occasion by Niall Donovan, but still manages to get it the second time, but it's the Mills that are hunting in packs, and they come out with the ball. It's Aidan Fall. He got off one challenge, and he's dispossessed by David Fitzgerald. The ball's on the ground. Conor Tierney is trying to go for that first half substitute. Niall Arthur is there, and Niall Arthur does get it under control, and he's got about 65 metres out. Looks to be winning the free, and that's a forwards free, Jar. That's something.
That's one that in the current game, is, as the fella says, he won it well, you know.
Yeah, he had the ball. He seemed to take his marker's arm with him, and it fell down the ground. And that's a free in for Inagh-Kilnamona, and an opportunity for them to equalise here after going to be 4 minutes of the second period, and it's Aidan McCarthy that's going to take it. He's right out on the right wing. He's 60 metres away from the post. He's already got 3 frees in the opening half, but yet to impact from play. But for the moment, they'll be happy that he can just pull over this free and level up the game again. He's about to take it. He lifts over the ball. It's going to be a tough one against the conditions. It's going to have the distance for sure. But unfortunately, he's gone to the left and wide, and an opportunity missed for Inagh-Kilnamona. They're first of the second half, but they've had 8 overall, and Killian Nugent, meanwhile, is eager to poke out the ball, and he hits it high, he hits it long, and it's drifting towards the square, and that's where Colin Crehan is, but it's Shane McInerney this time that gets the interception, gives it off to Kevin Hare, and he plays it back to Sean Mahoney. Sean Mahoney, the unmarked fullback, but he just plays a loose pass, and that's picked up by Aidan Fall at halfway. Aidan Fall's going to have a go at the post. He certainly has the distance, but again doesn't have the accuracy, and it means a first wide the second half for O'Callaghan's Mills and a 6th overall. But there's no time for a break here, not even a breath, as Inagh-Kilnamona poke out the ball quickly, taken too quickly, however, as that ball's gone out over the sideline, much to the despair of Aidan McCarthy, and it's Patrick Donlan that takes the quick line ball back to Aidan O'Gorman. He's got a bit of pressure from behind him, but gives it back to Patrick Donlan. He's on his own 65-metre line. He lofts that towards the square. It's going to be a dangerous ball, but Eamon Foodie picks up possession and gives it out here to Cian McInerney on the right wing. He just has a little bit control, and he flicks it perfectly over Aidan Fall, but manages to slip as he was able to do it, and it's Aidan Fall that picks it up. He has a second opportunity at the post, but this time he's gone to the right of the post and hit it wide. A few chances squandered, Spar, but still, I suppose Inagh-Kilnamona have to be the ones to chase the game at this stage.
Yeah, they have. Look, the Mills definitely have a couple of chances there with the wind.
Yeah, and here's Aidan McCarthy. It's an opportunity for him to get his first from play, but again it's taken the wind. It's a tricky one here to negotiate, and it means that Inagh-Kilnamona have 2 wides in the second half and 9 overall. 2 wides apiece, in fact, for the second half. Ball's quickly taken out by Cillian Nugent, out to Niall Donovan. Niall Donovan's on the left wing and he plays into the corner. He's looking for Gary Cooney, who has Keith White for company, but Gary Cooney gets control the first time, gets it underway, shifts back and looks for the posts. This would be a fine score, and it is, and O'Callaghan's Mills. What a great score, and it means that they're now 2 points clear. 6 minutes into the second half, it's O'Callaghan's Mills 1-9. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 10 points. They need a reaction, Ger.
They do, and that was a beautiful score. Like he turned him inside, but you know, he took his chance well. But Aidan McCarthy is in tacking now, and a great score from Aidan.
A great reply from Inagh-Kilnamona. They're not done yet, says Aidan McCarthy, as he puts over his first from play and his 4th overall. And we're back to a 1-point game here. But crucially, it's the Mills that are ahead. It's 1-9 to 11 points. Just coming up to the 7th minute of the second half. As Cillian Nugent that pucks it out, he's just going to go over the half-back unit. But that's where Kevin Hare is, and he's got a bit of space here. Looks inside to Shane McInerney. This time does pick him out. He's loose, and he gets it off to David Fitzgerald, who's playing a deeper role now, but he's looking to try and get back on the right side of the field. He gets into Niall Arthur. Niall Arthur shrugs off his man. They say illegally, say the Mills, but Niall Arthur has an opportunity for an equaliser here, but it's gone to the right and wide. Another missed opportunity for Inagh-Kilnamona, and they've now gone into double figures in wides. They're gone up to 10 wides. The Mills are protesting that the Niall Arthur played the hurley there instead of playing the ball, but we're 7 minutes. It doesn't really matter because the Mills are a point to the good. It's 1-9 to 11 points, and Cillian Nugent is eager to poke out the ball as the Mills are on top. He goes down the left wing this time. He's looking for Conor Henry or Sean Cotter, and it doesn't get it because it's Sean Mahoney that picks up in the full back line, gives it off to Kevin Hare, who's been a great outlet for Inagh-Kilnamona so far. Darren Cullinan looks to Conor Tierney. They have a lot of men spare here around the middle of the field, but they want him in a more offensive role. He gives it crossfield to Niall Arthur, who's got perfect control. He jinks inside but doesn't find the man again, and it's O'Callaghan's Mills to pick up position and give it down the field to Sean Cotter. Sean Cotter on the ball, plays it down the right corner looking for Colin Crehan, but Shane McInerney puts him under enough pressure to win a line ball for Inagh-Kilnamona just inside their own half, and just at the stand side of the field, and he's going to leave it off for Kevin Hare, the captain, to take. It's 1-9 to 11 points, only a point in it here, but we're 8 minutes into the second half. As mentioned before, O'Callaghan's Mills have a strong breeze at their back, but Inagh-Kilnamona are a young running side that can get back, but they haven't seemed to have a pattern yet, sure.
No, they don't. But I think, do you know what? I think the actual wind might have died down a little bit, so it mightn't be as strong. But certainly Inagh-Kilnamona seem to be coming into a little bit again.
Yeah, absolutely. Our fringes are blowing back in our faces a bit, so there is a small bit of a breeze there still. Conor Tierney has an opportunity to substitute to try, but that's going to be short, and it's going to be easily picked up by Cillian Nugent, who then was put under pressure by Aidan McCarthy, but gets the ball out to Patrick Donlan. He hits it down the right wing, and they're looking, there's a lot of pressure on here, but Colin Crehan has it, the man of the moment, but Shane McInerney is going to beat him to the punch. Persistence from Colin Crehan, he tries to give it inside to Sean Cotter, but that's intercepted by Inagh-Kilnamona, and it's Jason McCarthy on the ball. He surges out of defence, plays it down to his younger brother Aidan here, who's on the left wing. He's now in the left corner and he cuts inside. He looks for the score, but that's going to go to the left and wide under pressure, and David Fitzgerald seemed in frustration, just threw the hurley up in the air. A rather strange move. He was probably looking for the pass inside from Aidan McCarthy, but he's after hitting that one wide. It's a 4th wide of the second half. It's an 11th wide overall for Inagh-Kilnamona, and we're coming up to the 10-minute mark here in the second half, and O'Callaghan's Mills still clinging to that 1-point advantage. Cillian Nugent pokes it straight down the field, and it's a huge take from Jacob Loughnane, who's been fouled by Sean Mahoney. Almost wrestled to the ground there. He wasn't going to get away.
He wasn't getting away. No, he wasn't getting away. But again, probably an easy score now for them, and he'd probably take it himself, I presume.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity for O'Callaghan's Mills to put 2 between the sides once more. We've just hit the 2/3 mark in this senior championship quarter-final. Ballier and 6 Mile Bridge are already through to the last 4, and O'Callaghan's Mills, who were there in 2018, are looking to do so again. Sean Mahoney picks up a yellow card for Inagh-Kilnamona. No surprise there after practically holding back Loughnane, but it gives Colin Crehan an opportunity to increase his tally to 1-5. We're 10.5 minutes gone here. This would put 2 between the sides once more. And it's Colin Crean. He's just at the edge of the D here. And straight in front of the post. And he lifts and strikes. And it's inside the right post. And it means 1-5 for Colin Crean. But more importantly, it means a 2-point advantage for O'Callaghan's Mills, who are 110 to 11 points up here as we go into the 41st minute. A quick puck out from Eamon Foley. And we're underway again. But it's Niall Donovan that leaps highest and gets the ball. He bats it clear. He's looking for Conor Henry, but that's going to reach Kevin Hare instead. He looked to be impeded, but the play goes on. And it's Inagh-Kilnamona that are scrapping for the ball. Jacob Lucknan is in there as well. And nobody has possession of it at the moment, but it's Kevin Hare that's trying to lead from the back as he is the captain of the side. Gives off to David Fitzgerald. David Fitzgerald's about 60 metres out. This time has a shot at the post, but that's going to go to the left and wide. Another missed opportunity for Inagh-Kilnamona. They're on to 12 wides overall, and we're just coming up. We're about 3.5 minutes from the water break, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona that need inspiration at the moment because they're 2 points behind and don't seem to have enough leadership up front in this stage. But it's Mills that are buoyant at the moment, and it's Sean Cotter that has the ball. Can't get a shot away because Jason McCarthy is quickly in there. He does get a second attempt and manages to put it inside the post, and that's his first score of the afternoon, and it is a 3-point advantage for O'Callaghan's Mills. We're 42 minutes gone here. It's 111 to 11 points, but as you'd expect, the ball is quickly hit out, and it's David Fitzgerald on the ball. He's after passing the own 40 or the opposition 45 metre line, takes a solo, has a look. He looks like determined to shoot regardless of what's going to happen, and again he's after hitting it wide, and this time a worse wide really, because it's barely hit the back netting. And sure, all these wides are adding up. They're gone to 13 now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's crazy stuff there that from David Fitzgerald, like, you know, I mean, again, they're going to have to sharpen up big time because you know, he seems to be a little bit disillusioned with the whole thing at the moment as well. So he just needs, again, we spoke about it, the leadership, and you know, he needs to put the head up and go with it. And it's certainly not beyond them. Like, you know, they can get back into this game because the Mills aren't pulling away either. You know.
Absolutely not. But there is going to be a substitution for Inagh-Kilnamona in the meantime, and it's Owen Fitzgerald that comes on for Keelan Geiler as Killian Nugent pucks the ball, and as you expect with the wind, pucks it right down the field towards Jacob Lucknan. He has a flick with the first one, he gives it off, and Gary Cooney picks up the break. Gary Cooney's about 20 metres out. He's on the left corner. He's already got a point from that angle, and he does again. That's his second point in the second half, and it means now a 4-point gap for O'Callaghan's Mills. They're 112 to 11 points up, and the water break can't come soon enough for Inagh-Kilnamona.
No doubt about that. Like, you know, their shape has gone out as well, but they're on the attack again here now. But funny enough, the Mills are leaving the door open for them yet. I wouldn't say they're out of the game yet. You know.
No, Mills got one just before the first water break. So can Inagh-Kilnamona respond likewise for this, because they need a goal, you'd imagine, but they've got an opportunity here to attack. But it's a kind of a loose ball. Joe Mullins gives the free, and it means that Inagh-Kilnamona have an opportunity to make it a 1-score game, which will be back to 3 points. Time is running out, but they're coming up to the 44th minute. We're about a minute away from that water break. There haven't been many injuries or stoppages in play, and Aidan McCarthy has an opportunity to put only 3 between the sides. He's already got 4 points. He's got 3 frees and 1 from play, and it's an opportunity for him. It's just a hold up. It looks like Niall Arthur seems to be limping here at the far side. They've just made a substitution, so they won't want to see him injured because he's one of the more experienced players, Ger.
Yeah, and to be fair to him, when he gets the ball, he looks dangerous, you know. So he would be a big loss on if he had to go off, and he seems to be in trouble.
Yeah, he seems to be. It looks to be an ankle injury at the moment, and he is gone. It looks by the physio, it looks to be gone. So they're going to have to make another substitution here. And warming up on the sideline is Jerry Coote, another of those experienced players. But Inagh-Kilnamona have to delve into their pack. He's got up and he's limping on, but he doesn't look too comfortable on that ankle. But meanwhile, it's Inagh-Kilnamona that have the opportunity to bring it back to a 3-point game. It's 112 to 11 at the moment. We're just coming up to the 45-meter mark, or 45-minute mark, I should say. And it's Aidan McCarthy that's going to take it just from 20 metres, and he does put it over, as you'd expect. It's his 5th point of the afternoon, and it's a much needed score for Inagh-Kilnamona because there's 3 in it here as we're about to hit the 45 minutes. Who knows when the water break is going to come, but it has to come for a break and play, and it's Killian Nugent that's going to puck out the ball in the meantime. We're going to have one more play at least before this quarter is ended, and it's Inagh-Kilnamona that do win it, and it's Conor Tierney in his own half back line gives it to Jason McCarthy. Jason McCarthy's making ground. He makes it past halfway at this stage, bounces the ball off the ground and gets it back again. He's 60 metres out. He's going to have a pop at the post. They'll need every score, but unfortunately has gone for wide, and it's a 14th wide for Inagh-Kilnamona, and it looks to be like the water break is going to happen. Yes, it is the water break. So at the water break here, it's 1-12 to O'Callaghan's Mills. It's 12 points to Inagh-Kilnamona. And sure, the Mills will be much the happier. They have much more of a flow and a balance to the side so far, you'd think.
They have, no doubt about it, and in that phase of play, Jason McCarthy went up the wing there, and he had no other choice but to try and hit the ball over the bar himself from 60-70 metres out, because when he looked up, there wasn't a sign of an Inagh-Kilnamona player inside the full forward line. You would have to question as to where they're at, because they've completely lost their shape. They have no full forward line. They're all drifting out. There's nobody really taking the game by the scruff of the neck, and it's all lending itself to panic, I think, in the Inagh-Kilnamona set up at the moment.
The composure is all on O'Callaghan's Mills side, and just to give you an update on the Senior B quarter-final that's taking place at the moment, it's a derby between Newmarket and Fergus and Wolf Tones, and at the moment it's Newmarket and Fergus 1-10, it's Wolf Tones 1-8. So a 2-point advantage there. It's a 3-point advantage here. We're almost into 47 minutes. The Mills won't be in any hurry to come out after this water break, but I'd imagine the hairdryer treatment's coming from Hago in the Inagh-Kilnamona side.
Yeah, I think so, because to be fair to Fergal Haircredy, he's put an awful lot of time and effort into this particular team over the last 2 years, and having spoken to him recently, he thought this year that definitely we're going to give it a crack, and today is probably their worst display, I suppose. Really, they haven't got out of the blocks at all. So I feel sorry for Fergal in that, because I know they have tremendous work done.
Yeah.
But what's he saying to them now? He's saying, lads, we've 15 minutes left. You're going to have to decide. Do you want it badly enough, or are you quite happy to call it a day for this season and that? And I think they're good enough still to be to get a result here. But you have to say the chances are that the Mills, if they got a couple of early scores in the second half, could push on as well.
Absolutely. They need a spark. Ero got one with a Denny Russell goal about 40 minutes into the game. Is Inagh-Kilnamona that leads something similar if they're going to get back in the game, because they've had an upward progression in the last couple of years. They were in the relegation final in 2016, made it to round 3 in 2017, a quarter final in 18, and a semi-final in 19. So they're going to have to do a lot here if they are to reach that stage again. We're 48 minutes gone. We're about to resume for the final quarter here in the Clare Senior Championship quarter final. It's Killian Nugent is about to puck out the ball, and he hits it, as you'd expect, with the wind high and long. It's a big congregation of players there, and it's scrappy. The ball breaks to ground, and nobody seems to have it at the moment, but it's finally still a bit of a scramble, and Jacob Nan is in there in the middle of it. He's going to have to throw it in. You'd imagine there's no one going to be getting possession here. A very prolonged scrap around the middle, but it does break clear, and finally Sean Mahoney gets on possession. He's at his own 20-metre line, gives it off to Jason McCarthy. They're going to have to try and eat into this deficit, and his own Fitzgerald, his first touch since coming on as a substitute, and he's looking for Conor Hagerty inside. Hagerty is under pressure from Mike Cotter, and it's a great stuff from the cornerback as he gets on possession, wins it back from Tierney, and it's Conor Cooney that clears right down the field here, and he's Keith White intercepts, and it's really end-to-end stuff at the moment. It's frantic, it's frenetic. There's no great pattern or flow to it, but the Mills won't mind that. They're 3 points to the good here. Dave Fitzgerald, his own half-back line, plays it cross-feed. He's looking for Niall Arthur. He seems to have recovered from that ankle injury. He's got the ball. He jinks inside one way, but gives it back out to Darren Cullen. Darren Cullen has a bit of space. He's about 60 metres out. He's going to have a pop at the post, and it is a good score for Inagh-Kilnamona, a much needed one, and it means that the deficit is back to 2. It's 1-12 to O'Callaghan's Mills. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 13 points. We're 19 minutes here into the second half, and Killian Nugent is about to puck out the ball, but that's Darren Cullen's second of the game so far. Killian Nugent goes on the left wing this time. There was too much of a congregation the last time down the middle. He looks for Sean Cotter, but he doesn't win it, and it's Darren Cullen, the point scorer from just a few seconds ago, that gets under possession, but he overhits it to Conor Tierney, and it goes out over the line for a Mills line ball. Niall Donovan is looking like he's going to take this one, and it's just around the halfway mark here, right on the left wing. Jarlath Donnan is the linesman at that far side. We've just hit the 50-minute mark here in this quarter-final. There's 2 points in it, and it's anyone's game here, but we're yet to see any great pattern. The Mills, obviously the most impressive side so far, and they hit it right down into the corner. That's where Sean Cotter is, but he's got Sean Mahoney for company. He jinks one way, plays it across the square. It's a teasing ball, and that's looking for Gary Cooney. But Gary Cooney does pick it up. He's got Keith White around him. He cuts inside him. He's just been slightly held. He's going to have a shot at the post regardless, and that is a great score from Gary Cooney. It's his third of the second half, and it means that the Mills make it out to a 3-point game once more. It's 113 to 13 points in favour of Callans Mills, with commentary compliments of Blossoms on the Go Garden Centre in Centre Point in Hermitage in Ennis. The ball quickly pucked out from Eamon Foley, and he's looking for Aidan McCarthy, but the ball bounces clear. Owen Fitzgerald tries to get on it, but he's under pressure from Jacob Lucknan, who's an imposing figure there. Kevin Hare, who's gone much more advanced role at this stage, tries to get it, but it's Conor Henry that hits it down the field. And again, it's a bit scrappy here, but Shane McInerney comes out with the ball. Got a bit of a chop from Brian Donlan, and it means they get it free, but he's not going to dwell on it. He's going to take it quickly. He hits it high into the air. They haven't got the biggest forward unit, but they do have Kevin Hare in a more advanced role. He was playing centre back. He now seems to be up in the centre forward position, and it's Mike Cotter that comes clear with the ball from O'Callaghan's Mills. He's under pressure from Conor Hagerty. The ball is very, very close to the line here. Conor Hagerty could have been got a free for a trip, but the play goes on. It's a little bit scrappy here. Patrick Donnan has a swipe at it on the ground, but gets it back into his hand. He loses it to Conor Hagerty, and he passes it back to Seamus Foodie. Seamus Foodie got a point in the first half, and that looks to be going outside the post, and it's gone wide for Inagh-Kilnamona. A 15th wide for Inagh-Kilnamona here, and that is the story of the game, because O'Callaghan's Mills are just 3 points to the good here. We're in 52 minutes gone. There's a substitution for O'Callaghan's Mills, and it's Cormac Murphy, the goal scorer, and what a spectacular goal he got against Crusheen when he came on the last day, and he's going to come on for Aidan Fall here with just 8 minutes of normal time remaining. Cormac Murphy, who was in the Clare minor team last year, he's got 1-2 in the championship so far, so a great addition to the Mills for these last 10 minutes or so, and the ball is immediately pucked into his zone. There's a bit of a scramble. It says there's going to be a chop, and it's a free for O'Callaghan's Mills. And it's a good opportunity, George, to go 4 points clear with about 8 minutes to go. That is a great position for O'Callaghan's Mills.
It is, and there's no doubt about it. On if this went over, I think psychologically it could flatten Inagh-Kilnamona, because they've all sorts of changes made. I see Kevin Hare has gone up centre forward, I think, and David Fitzgerald has gone back centre back. You'd have to question that, like in that they have to throw this kitchen sink at him, and you'd think that Fitzgerald would be more potent up in the half forward line at this stage. But look at they have to try something, because it's not working at the moment for them.
It isn't, and Jacob Lucknan is standing here right on the 65-metre line. He's out in the left wing, but he does have a strong breeze at his back, and he's about to hit this one. It's going to be close, but it is a point, and it means that the Mills are now 4 points clear. There is a bit of a gap there, a bit of a daylight between them. 53 minutes gone here, and it's O'Callaghan's Mills 114. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 13 points. Ball is quickly pucked out, but it's the Mills are going to win it, and it's that aforementioned Cormac Murphy. He had a run from the similar position. He's about 65 metres out, and he got a great goal to finish off Crusheen, but this time he plays off the ball. And they still got it in the right side of the field for the Mills, and they do have possession, because it's Colin Crean that has it, and no better man to have it. He gives it off to Sean Cotter. Sean Cotter has a go at the posts, but that's just going to go to the right and wide. Not too concerning for O'Callaghan's Mills. They've only had 3 wides in the second half, but they're 4 points to the good here. We're 54 minutes gone. Inagh-Kilnamona quickly get matters underway again. It's Seamus Foodie gets the ball from Eamon Foodie, and he gives it out to Keith White. Keith White plays it down to Aidan McCarthy. This is better for Inagh-Kilnamona, but they're going to need this on a consistent basis. He gives it back to Keith White, tries to play it inside to the substitute Owen Fitzgerald, but overhit it slightly, and it's Conor Cooney, that experienced former inter-county player for Clare, that picks up the ball. He plays it coolly across to his own goalkeeper under a little bit of pressure from Conor Hagerty, but he manages to come clear. He gives it to Patrick Donlan. That's out to Brian Donlan. He hits it, a long ball from his own half back line. It's going to go all the way. What a score from Brian Donlan, and inspirational stuff from the captain, Joe.
Yeah, brilliant score by Brian there. One touch out him, and he opened up the shoulders and over the bar. And as we said, it looks like a day that Inagh-Kilnamona don't seem to be up for it, I think.
Yeah, they're struggling here at the moment. They're 5 points down, and it's the Mills, the buoyant Mills, that are 115 to 13 points ahead. 55 minutes on the clock. Time is running out for Inagh-Kilnamona, but let's see what they're going to do. They have possession again because Eamon Foodie's after going short to Sean Mahoney. This time he hits a long ball. It's going down the right wing. He's looking for Niall Arthur, but that looks like it's going over the sideline. And another frustration for Inagh-Kilnamona. They just can't seem to get things going at the moment. The Mills will be in no rush to take this. Jerry Cooney and Niall Donovan just sauntering back with the ball. They have time on their side, they have the scoreline on their side, and they also have the wind at their side as we're going into the 56th minute here. And it's O'Callaghan's Mills that are 5 points clear. It is Niall Donovan that's going to take it. He's just in his own half back line at the moment, taking this line ball at the shed side of Cusack Park. Hits a good one. It's right down there into the mix. He's looking for Sean Cotter, intercepted by Dave Fitzgerald, but it goes back out over the line. It looks like Inagh-Kilnamona, the heads are dropping slightly, you know, which is not a good side for a
It's
time.
not, and they've all the demeanour of a team now that have thrown the tools in. I'm afraid, you know, as you said rightly, the heads are down a bit with them, and that's worrying at this stage. Like, you know, they have like the Mills have missed 1 or 2 chances there as well. So I still think that if they pushed on for a few minutes, that they might have a chance if they got a goal, you know.
Yeah, they need to get a bit of composure and a bit of aforementioned leadership, as we've mentioned a couple of times in this. And it's Dave Fitzgerald, who's now at centre back. He comes out with possession. He looks for Owen Fitzgerald on the left wing. Owen Fitzgerald picks it up and he tries to play a dink ball. That's into a dangerous area because there's a crowd of players in the centre. It was tried to be a flick by Conor Haggerty, but on this occasion didn't come off. But it's Jason McCarthy who picks it up, shrugs off one challenge. He's a quite a robust player. He's got it, but it's blocked down superbly by Conor Henry, and it means that Mills are back on the attack. It's Cormac Murphy plays inside to Jacob Legnan. He's got an acre of space in front of him. He passes out Sean Manley, looks for the goal, and that's a superb save from Eamon Foodie. Great shot. It would have been the clincher, Jar, so it does keep Inagh-Kilnamona in this.
It does. It was a fantastic save by Foodie there, you know. And the more often the games I see, I'm actually impressed with the goalies. I think the goalies have been outstanding in the championship. That was a point blank save, like, and fantastic. You know, showed great athleticism to dive and to be able to stop it at that pace is fantastic, you know. On another day you'd be saying, would he have been better after he hit it over the bar?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah. No guts, no glory. Here we go. And it's Jacob Legnan that does have an opportunity to get a point instead from a 65, and that Senior B game, Derby down between Newmarket and Fergus and Wolftones is now level. It's 1-11 apiece there. But there is clear daylight between the sides here because Jacob Legnan has scored another for the Mills, and now there's 6 points between the sides. We come up to the 58th minute, an ominous sign here, but the game goes on. It's a 65 for Jacob Legnan. It's 116 to the Mills. It's Inagh-Kilnamona 13 points, which are commentary compliments of Blossoms on the Go Garden Centre in Centre Point in Hermitage. Gary Cooney had a shot at the post there, but it's gone out for a line ball, and that won't unduly worry O'Callaghan's Mills, because it means that Inagh-Kilnamona have, oh no, it's actually the Mills that are going to get the line ball here, and there'll be no rush to take this one. They have just that little bit more experience, a little bit more composure, and deservingly are 6 points ahead here.
Yeah, they are, and you know, they deserve their victory so far. Anyway, you know, they look very composed.
Yeah, and Inagh-Kilnamona aren't done yet. Is there a sting in the tail from Inagh-Kilnamona? They're 59 minutes on the clock. They're trailing by 6, and they need some inspiration. Connor Tierney, the first half substitute, has it at halfway. He's got a lot of space. He arrows it in towards the square, where Conor Haggerty is on the ground, and that goes harmlessly to the left and wide. And overall, Inagh-Kilnamona have 16 wides. 16 wides is a lot in any game, and they've got 9 in the second half against the Breeze. Every one of those is going to be costly as they're 6 points down here. We're into the final minute of normal time, and we'll see what the additional time that Joe Mullins is going to play. 3 minutes he's going to play in total, so we're about 3.5 minutes away here from the final whistle. But in the meantime, it's O'Callaghan's Mills that are going to bring on a substitute, and it's Mike McGrath is coming onto the field. It looks like Sean Cotter is going to come off, and we're just into the 60th minute here. So into the additional time, it's 6 points between the sides, and Killian Nugent is going to puck out the ball for an inspired Mills so far. He hits it short to Conor Cooney in his own 20-metre line. He looked for the pass back, but Conor Cooney says, I'm going to take this one, and loft it towards the square, because that's where Jacob Legnan is. There's a bit of a scramble here. Colin Crehan is there as well, the minute he got on the ball, there was 3 Inagh-Kilnamona men around him, and here's Mike McGrath. He's going to make an immediate impact, tries to get a shot on goal, but that's snuffed out by Inagh-Kilnamona, and they have an opportunity to attack, but that just typified their day as they had a loose pass, and it didn't go to a like jersey. Brian Donlan tries to keep the ball in, but he just goes off, and it means that Inagh-Kilnamona do have a line ball, but they have a lot to do here to get right back into the game. They've less than 3 minutes to try and salvage their season. They're 6 points down. It's 116 to 13 points. We're 30 and a half minutes gone here, and the ball is played back from Seamus Foley to his brother Eamon. Eamon is hit it long down the left wing, but there's 2 Millsmen to Conor Hagerty, and it's the Mills man that picks up the ball, and it's Mike Cotter. Mike Cotter has 3 men for company, but wins a free, gives the fist pump, and that means that Mills have 1 foot in the semi-finals here for the first time since 2018. 31 minutes on the clock. They're going to take their time here. Jacob Lucknan is going to take as much time as he possibly can here. They're 6 points up, and it looks kind of inevitable at this stage that the Mills are going to come out for a victory, Jar.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. A lot more urgency in the Mills and that, and Inagh-Kilnamona, a bit of soul searching, I'm afraid. They didn't live up at all to any expectation I was told that was in that team, so it's back to the drawing board for them, and they'll have the winter to think it out.
Yeah, absolutely. The winter to think it out, but for the moment, the summer is still going on, and the Mills are flying high at the moment. They have the wind at their backs here. Jacob Glann's taking a free in his own half-back line. He's going to have the distance, there's no doubt about it. But just it's unfortunately, as a commentator's curse, because it dropped short, and Eamon Foley just took his eye off it, and it went into the corner of the net, and it's going to stand here, and it's the final blow in Inagh-Kilnamona's coffin, you'd imagine, because we're 62 minutes gone here, and Jacob Lucknan has got a free from his own half-back line that ended up in the back of the net, and they're now 9 clear. It's 2-16 to 13 points, but it's not over yet, because Kevin Hare has the ball. He's over-carried it. He's almost he was looking for a penalty, but instead it's a free out, and that just sums up Inagh-Kilnamona's afternoon. He throws the hurley on the ground, but it's the Mills that are comfortably cruising towards the semi-final berth, along with the last 2 champions, 6 Mile Bridge and Ballyea. Killian Nugent pokes out the ball quickly, finds Aidan O'Gorman. Aidan O'Gorman's in his own half-back line. They seem to have a spare man here. They certainly have the wind in their sails and at their backs. And here we go, it's Colin Crean flicks it deftly over to Kieran Cooney. Kieran Cooney is going to be met by Dave Fitzgerald with his shoulder, but still gets the ball off, looking for Mike McGrath. The ball goes in over his head. He's got Darren Cullen for company. He tries to hit it into the corner, and just keeping it down in the opposition half will do for the remainder of this game, because we're coming up to the 3rd minute of additional time. Time has run out for Inagh-Kilnamona, but David Fitzgerald is going to bring the charge anyway. He tries to hit one from his own half-back line. It doesn't have the necessary length, and it's the Mills that look to be picking up the ball here. Mike Cotter is back there again, and it's Kevin Hare who's now in the full forward line. He does pick up the ball, and he's still fighting for everything for Inagh-Kilnamona. He wins a free, wanted more than that because he had a shot after the whistle was blown for goal, but that was kept out by Killian Nugent. They do have an opportunity to free here, Ger. Look, they're 9 points down there. They're just going to have to go for broke.
I think they'll go for it, yeah, but if you actually saw the phase of play, there was 5 O'Callaghan Mills guys following Kevin Hare, and nobody from the Inagh-Kilnamona looking. Now maybe they feel that it's gone anyway, but it's very disappointing.
Absolutely, very disappointing. Aidan McCarthy just takes the consolation. He doesn't even get that at this stage. Unfortunately, that's gone to the left and wide, and that really is probably the final action of this quarter-final of the Clare Senior Hurling Championship. Disconsolate Inagh-Kilnamona, but a buoyant O'Callaghan's Mills are about to puck up the ball, and there is more play involved because Killian Nugent is allowed to puck it out. It goes straight through to Jacob Lucknan. He could finish off with a score here, gets a high challenge, and that is it. And it means that O'Callaghan's Mills are back into the first semi-final since 2018 here on an emphatic scoreline of 2-16 to 13 points. Fully deserved, Ger. Maybe the final goal was maybe fleshed out a little bit too much, but definitely deserved to get through to the semi-finals.
Oh, no doubt about it, Owen. I have to say that the Mills were way more up for the game, and they thoroughly deserved a victory. will there be anybody shivering in their boots after seeing that match? I thought myself like that Inagh-Kilnamona were most disappointing in that they never put any authority in the game at all, and that disappointed me, because I was looking forward to seeing, had they taken the next leap and it's probably a step backwards for them, but the Mills will be absolutely thrilled there, and they thoroughly deserved the victory because they fought and they hung in there when they were against the wind, and I think the signs were a bit ominous actually, because Inagh-Kilnamona never pressed on really. That's and as you said, they had something like 17, 18 wides, I'd say, overall, and probably 8 or 9 of them were in the first half.
Yeah, they did. They had 17 wides overall, and at this level you can't afford to be doing that. But as you say, maybe this game was pretty much won in the first half when the Mills really stood up to the challenge, and that Colin Crean goal, I suppose, really stopped Inagh-Kilnamona from pulling clear at that stage. Yeah,
that's a fact. But the Mills will take an awful lot out of the game, in that they're probably gone in there. Nobody will fancy them the next day. With who's left in the competition, so they're going in there with no pressure on them, and they'll certainly give it a cut. They'll certainly give it a cut. Now, whether they'll be good enough, I'm not sure, because Inagh-Kilnamona never really put it up to them today.
Yeah, and that's.
And back here on pitch side, an emphatic win for O'Callaghan's Mills. We were talking about it at half time that we could possibly win by 1 or 2 points. The boys had gone for Inagh-Kilnamona at the start, but definitely in the second half there was no debate about who the better team was, John.
No, just the Mills took over altogether. Just sat back, as we said, sat back their half-back line, and the experience they had back in the defence, it just looked like Inagh-Kilnamona were never going to get the ball up into the full forward line. I think the first time they ever looked like threatening at goal was they hit a long ball into Kevin Heher. I just think they overplayed it too much around the middle and needed to get to the scoring zone a bit quicker. But look, I suppose Inagh-Kilnamona are just going to have to learn from this. They're a young team, and I suppose they were favourites coming in today. And look, they will learn from it, I think, and they'll learn a lot from today.
I suppose, Sean, we had probably in a couple of other matches we've done here, we were looking at Inagh-Kilnamona as potentially a team that was going to rattle the championship. Today might be a bit of it is a setback for them for this year. How do you think they're going to come out of this?
Yeah, it's a big setback for Inagh-Kilnamona, but as John says, they're a young team and they have some good players coming. I didn't think a couple of their bigger players didn't lead the young lads by example today. No, some lads battled hard. Kevin Howard, the two McCarthy's, and Darren Conlon, the four of them battled to the end, but the Mills were very economical with the ball. As John said to me 10 minutes to go, it was 14-6 wides. That shows how the Mills took most of their chances. Colin Crehan was kind of held in the second half, even though he had an outstanding first half, but then Gary took over inside, got 3 superb points. But there's unsung heroes there as well. There's no heroes in the Mills tonight. Mike Cotter and Conor Henry have come through and they played really well today, and it's a big step up for them. They've won their last 2. They won today by 9 points and they beat Crusheen by 9 points. If you come in today, you'll be saying Crusheen, if Crusheen had bet the Mills, geez, they'd be one of the favourites forever. But the Mills now put 3 wins back to back, so they're moving forward at pace.
I suppose, John, you could definitely see, even with a couple of minutes to go, and I think the Sparrow alluded to in his commentary that Kevin Heher was going with the ball and was 5 Millsmen on top of him, and there were 7 or 8 points up, but there was no give. They were ruthless.
Yeah, even myself and Sean said they took over the stand, even in terms of the volume that they were saying for frees and steps, and even their sideline. You could see from the start that they were well up for it. And look, anytime you play the Mills, I know for the last 2 years and the last number of years, you'll get it hard. You've got Conor Cooney, great goalie. Conor Cooney is going to be a rocket full back, and he's 2 young lads like his own brother alongside him, and Mike Cotter, and they won't give away much. And you can see the half back line then, they have that experience there for a long time, and that's what kind of shone through today. They were bigger, aggressive, and more in your face, and they wanted it more.
And one player that I have watched over the years, and as you say, I won't say he's an unsung hero, but I've really watched him at underage, under 21 and minor, is Jacob Lucknan. He's a big player, he's a physical player, he's an exceptionally strong free taker. I know the goal was a bit unfortunate at the end, I suppose, from Eamon's perspective, but still, he's one of these players I think is going to have a big say in the semi-final. Yeah,
he's a big unit, and he's well able to win his own ball. He caught 3 or 4 great balls there when the tackles were flying in. Another player there today now, Brian Donlan, his years. You'd think he was a young lad. He was outstanding, and if you were to pick a man of the match, Brian Donlan will be it. He went up and down the field, got some great scores, and led the line example. That's the way to lead players. you lead by example, and he led the young lads on. Cormac Murphy made a big introduction as well, and he's got great legs, he's great for the last 15 minutes, he can run at players, and he's intelligent, he gives the right ball as well. But it's good for the Mills, it's good for outside East Clare to see a team like that coming through again.
Someone said in the stands nearly the East Clare Championship. Unfortunately, poor old Bradford and Clonlara not with them anyway. So I suppose looking forward now to maybe the semi-finals. What have you sort of picked out the weekend, John?
Look, I suppose the Bridge are still the favourites. They're just so good on the ball. Look, the typical Bridge, know how to win the games, keep the scoreboard ticking. The best man in the right position scores. Look, Davy will have them well wound up. That I think the big thing in the Bridge at the moment is that they haven't put back to back in a long time, so that'll be a big game in theirs. And look, they're in the driving seat in the last four. Ballyea obviously have that kind of bit of touch of class with Tony and Gary Brennan, and they won't fear anyone. And look, the Mills, I'd hate to be coming up against them because they'll be in your face. They'll take over the stand as well, as you say. They'll be aggressive, and they won't fear anyone, especially with the confidence they have going in after the last few wins. And it's wide open. But I suppose at the end of the day, you're looking at the Bridge again, and then you have Erogan and Fecal next weekend, which will be a great match. Erogan now will be full of confidence, but then again, Fecal will not fear Erogan one bit, and you'd hope that Erogan won't be overconfident.
I suppose, Sean, we just have a quick glance. Maybe you'll be keeping your eye on the Intermediate Hurling Championship yourselves. But you had a good outing yesterday against St. Joseph Brefford, and you're mostly a few old stages. It's a very, very young Bodyke team. Yeah,
we went out yesterday evening. We had 9. They played with 9 under 21s, which is great. If we can keep them together now going forward, they put up a great performance yesterday evening. Trained well all year. Eric Minogue was in there from Waika. He's done a great job with him. The Intermediate Championship is a tough championship to get out of. As you see, Tulla now today, they're beaten by Scariff, and when you get in there, it's hard to get out, and it'll even be harder next year because after next year, there's 2 teams coming down. So it's a good championship, but you would have to fancy down there now. Scariff look to be in the driving seat at the moment, and with Dora Bearfield coming behind them. They'll be the 2 strongest in it.
What would you think of 6? I know it's currently on at the moment. 6 Bridge and Tubber will be 2 squads. Whoever gets out, that will be a battle-hardened team as well.
Yeah, you look at the Bridge team. That intermediate team. A lot of them have senior championship medals. Like they have for a club. They have second string of players is really, really strong. Corofin are there as well. Corofin have some young players coming. The Cahills, good hurlers. Kevin Keane, all good hurlers. So the intermediate championship is coming down to the nitty-gritty now. So hope to be good into it.
So look, again, thanks to John and to Sean for their work today, and also to all the staff that worked here today. It was a good performance for both. We've had 2 decent winners of both games today, so next week we'll probably be back with more action in the GA front. So final score here from Cusack Park is O'Callaghan's Mills 2-16, Inagh-Kilnamona 13 points.
Hi, this is Shirley here from Blossoms on the Go. I would just like to wish all the lads the best of luck with the championships this year and hope they get on brilliant. Best of luck. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9:30 to 5:30, and just to let you know, here in Hermitage in Ennis, call us, check out our Facebook page for any contact.